other than Kenna's stars of the advertising industry, chief creative officers at Ogilvy, and 10 years into a unique partnership that has created awesome work. As someone said on social media, you have packed a ton in 10. So over to you, and let me ask you, where did you guys first meet and what was your first impression of each other? Kainas?
So should I take
So
that
we
first?
first met in 2001 when I joined Leo Burnett. Harshad was already working there, and he was already a star when I joined Burnett. So he had already done some great award-winning work, and he was really down to earth and helpful. And if you remember the old Leo Burnett, Harshad,
Yes.
it was a small little office, and it was oddly designed because there were these small alleys, and to go to the bathroom you had to go through a precarious stairs and everything, and there was no way you wouldn't bump into each other, and creative was like one tight unit. So
Yeah, it was just like
it
a
was
alley down the road.
physically
Yeah.
very uncomfortable, but we all got really close, and I think Harshad and I developed an instant connection with each other.
Yeah, this was the year 2001. I still remember the time. I think the office had just come back from a Goa trip. Those were the days when agencies could go out on trips and the whole office would go. And we had just come back, and there was this new copywriter who had joined one of our teams. And she had a name which was quite intriguing and new. I'd never known anybody named Kenas before that. So obviously it was a different name. So I think one of the first things I must have asked her is, what does your name mean? And from what I recall, you had said something like it means like a something of light, right? There's some light connection.
No, it means a prized possession.
Prized possession, yeah. So I thought that was a very unique name, and that's how we got chatting over the years. She worked with a different group, of course, and I worked on a different team, but we all got along super well together. In fact, she and I became friends very quickly. And while yesterday marked our 10-year partnership at Ogilvy, it's interesting to know that our actual formal partnership started in 2007, but 2001 is where we actually became friends.
I joined Burnett in 2001. 2007, we both were in JWT. So I went with Aggie in 2006. Harshad joined in 2007, and Aggie actually paired us up as partners.
Aggie was the one who made us into a team. But before that too, while we were working with different groups, Arvind Sharma, who used to head Leo Burnett, he was very fond of working with both of us. And he, on several occasions, especially on new business pitches, where the usual team structure can be, molded. So he would insist on Kenas and me working together to take on pitches and stuff. So we had worked on, not a structured way, but especially on new business pitches and all. And we used to do competitions together. Remember, Kenas? So there would be those young CanLan competitions and entries for that. That is where Kenas and I would partner on the OneNote project. So we were used to working together. But Aggie formalized it in 2007 and made us into a working unit that you see today.
So take us through the actual creative process. I mean, how do you guys ideate for anything? I mean, do you guys sit down, talk, discuss, or come up with individual ideas and sit and brainstorm? What is the creative synergy that, how does it happen? How do you speak each
Harshad,
other's
you want
minds?
to start?
Yeah, of course. So here I would like to give an analogy because advertising creatives, I mean, we believe that these days probably you see a fewer number of teams, but we grew up and we started advertising in an environment where world over, the world has seen some great teams that also came from the initial culture of pairing art and copy together, and hence a duo worked as a unit. And many of those teams went on to become legendary teams in world advertising. When it comes down to over here, I would first of all I like dealing in analogies, but I think this one is an appropriate and apt one for something which I can describe as an ideal partnership in creative and advertising. It could be, if you look at any partnership which is a great pair in music, it could be Simon and Garfunkel, or closer home, it could be even, I love older Hindi music, but even if you take a partnership like Shankar Jaikishan, so there will always be two units who are perfectly, who are musicians in their own rights. But when you start jamming together, as Kenas has this term which I'm absolutely in love with, she says when two correctly able people and two good at their art people come together, one and one doesn't become two. One and one can create magic and become 11. So in some ways, that's a very, very rare equation to discover, feel, and form. So one is you have to vibe together with the other person. In partnerships, don't just happen in a forced manner with anybody and everybody. But when you realize that this person actually feeds off what you have to say, or you feed off what comes out of that person's head, and you can build on it, and you can, you have the same wavelength to kind of jam in musical terms. That jamming session is very, very important. So closer home to the actual process, when a brief comes, we just sit. Usually, like Kenas will vouch for it, most of our ideas get done in cafes outside, because in office we are largely managing life for the office. But our actual hardcore ideation happens in a environment where both of us are just facing each other, and we usually sit at cafes. And suppose whatever is the brief at hand, we try and really simplify it to what is the one thing that we need to communicate, and then we jam. So it could be, literally moments and minutes of silence until one of us will burst out with, what if we do something like this? And the other person will take it. Either one of us will agree, or usually we start tearing down, no, but I think this won't work with that idea. Then she will tear it down to saying, I don't think this works, but we can take that element of what you said and we can build on this. Then I'll build on that. So that's how it's a sparring and jamming session, where it's just like taking a huge, shapeless lump of clay, and both of us going at it, giving it shape in our own terms, and ultimately both of us seeing our visions matching and saying, yeah, now let's build it this way. That's the analogy I would give. Kenos?
Yeah, no, I think he captured most of it. But I just want to add one little bit, that the silences are usually the time when there is copious amounts of food and coffee and tea being had.
Yeah, but I think this process is like, I mean, the beauty of it is we kind of have started, it's like, even after so many years on this thing, one might say that, of course, we are the most comfortable working with each other. But the fact is that comfort also leads us to, like Kenas has often said, we also do not, flinch from ripping apart each other's ideas and both of us have the friendship and the maturity to know that we are doing that only because one of us believes that it can be something else, and we give each other that has been our strength.
So we talk of you as Harshad and Kainas, and it's always together. So, but at the end of the day, each one of you is a person with a brilliant creative mind. Doesn't individuality ever come into play? And I believe now you don't do ads individually. So don't you ever think that you're an individual and should be doing your own thing?
So yeah, individuality doesn't sometimes come into play. It comes into play all the time, because who you are as a person comes into your work, especially if you love it and you're passionate about it. So what I bring to my work and what Harshad brings to his work are two completely different things. But the magic of it, or the real joy of it, is in the fact that when it comes to the leg of creation, which is the final crafting of it, we are so in sync that what I bring and what he brings seamlessly merges into and creates something good most of the times. But you can never stop being who you are. Like the way I think about work, or many a times, Harshad might feel very excited about a piece of work that he sees, and it may not move me in the same way. I can't even say that if Harshad and I are on the same jury, we will always vote for the same work. But considering there's partnership stuff, I can say with a great amount of confidence that I think 90% of the time we would like the same work, and we would think the same work is average. It's like, in a way, just to give you a parallel, and like Harshad said, he's very fond of analogies, but for me to use one, it's like, in a way, a professional marriage. So when you get married, I'm married, so you know that you don't stop being who you are, at least not when you're with a good person. You don't have to stop who you are, but together you can create a beautiful life. So in work, it's pretty much like that. I bring my own stamp to the work, he brings his own stamp, and luckily it so happens that when you see the work, you can't tell the lines, they are seamlessly blurred.
So have you ever disagreed on something, and then how do you come around and solve it?
all the time, because and see, the beauty about a equation and a partnership is it's not even like, I mean, just yesterday when we are sitting and jamming with a broader bunch, forget the two of us. Yet within that also there will be pieces on which Kenaz is more inclined towards liking a certain kind of piece, and I might at times agree with it 100%. At times I might have a niggle about it, and I might say no, but I think what the third piece that we presented, that can be built on. So of course, disagreements are a healthy, constructive way, because both of us know that even from this disagreement, see, when does disagreement become a problem? Where at the root of it, you think that, मुझे ना वो अच्छा नहीं लगता है, वो अच्छी नहीं लगती, and I think anything that comes out of that person's mouth, I don't think I'll agree with it. It's a subliminal thing when you judge people and not the work. But in our case, because the foundation of a personal equation and a friendship is completely, I mean, it's not even a question. When that is taken care of, even if we literally rip apart everything that, suppose Kenaz has spoken for 10 minutes on why she believes something is a really great campaign, and I take the next 5 minutes to really tear it down and see and point out to the chinks or the holes that I see in it, or if like I have really believed in something and I think that is the best idea that has come to me in the past 6 months, and Kenaz practically points out saying why it will just remind people of something that some agency did 10 years ago, even though it is not similar. We know that we are doing it not to hurt each other, but to take care of that ultimate piece of work. And I think that kind of funding for that work, creating that piece is the piece of work that we are creating jointly is of paramount importance. So that is why the amount of personal equation or personally hurting each other or personal disappointment doesn't even come into the picture. So we are completely free sparring and disagreeing with each other, because we know that we'll still be the best of friends in the evening. But what will come out after 2 hours of that sparring and disagreement is definitely a better piece of work.
Touchwood, and cheers to that. Has your recent elevation as CCOs at Ogilvy affected or impacted Team Harshad and Kainaz in any way?
So
not
I
really
believe that anytime you change your role or you take on more responsibilities, you have to, and I read this in a Buddhist book which says you have to expand your life. So what it means is somehow, and you don't know how, but you have to magically find a way to do more. And it really, the word magically, I choose the word very carefully, because there is no logical way that anybody can handle the ship that is Ogilvy and find the time to brainstorm and create work and do everything that is expected. But somehow everybody at the helm of Ogilvy has been able to do it, starting with Piyush, who's of course an absolute legend and force of nature, Kino, Rajiv, all these people have been at the absolute top job of Ogilvy, and yet they have found the time to make their brands shine. And they have never been far away from work. So Harshad and I have the same goal, and luckily we partner Sukesh, who also has the same goal. All three of us are very, very closely attached to work. So we just have to keep expanding our day and learn the ropes and try to find a way whereby our work does not suffer. And by work I mean everything is work. Administration is work, running offices is work, sitting in meetings is work. But what I mean here is an absolute pure sense of going to that cafe and coming up with that script that makes us really, really happy, and we know that if this film gets made, we have really done our job for the day and we have earned our pay for the day. That is the soul of everyone who has ever been heading Ogilvy, and I think that we absolutely do not plan to lose that.
Yeah, and I mean, my addition to that would be in a blunt, immediate way. No, it hasn't affected our partnership of Harshad and Kainaz. Yes, is the job demanding more time into getting involved in a lot more people's lives? Yes, it does that. And of course, we have the kind of partnership where, even because, like Kainaz said, it is such a vast land to cover, Ogilvy by itself. So even there are days when we find ourselves split between projects. So it might not mean that we are completely glued to one project in that one room all the time. There might be times when there might be a sudden crisis in some other city which she's tending to or I'm tending to, and there are clients over here which require an absolute attention from one of us. So at that time, do we split forces? Of course we do. in a way, I mean, it's a bit like having two engines on a plane. So at any given time, you know that one, even if one stalls or has something else to tend to, if one of us goes on leave or one of us, gets roped into another project, the beauty about a partnership is, are there instances when both of us at times are looking at different projects? Yes, we are, but we never treat them as our separate projects. What happens by default, and it happens by second nature, is there will at least be one detailed call between us at the end of the day to fill. I will be filling Kenazan on what happened in the course of that job and the calls that I have taken that day, and what certain whatever people have had to say about the project. She'll do likewise, and automatically it funnels on at the end of the day to become a common project where she will give her opinion on what I think we can do to the project tomorrow or day after. I'll be talking about projects which she's looking at. So while we are covering a lot more ground in that sense also, when we have to split forces, it still remains our work because we are still contributing to each other at the end of the day. So that is the only role which has probably widened, the scope has widened with this new role.
So tell us about your journey through this lockdown period. While you've not been able to go to that cafe to sit and brainstorm.
No.
So how are you working during this lockdown?
So we get our individual mugs, and like today also, for example, I mean, we are very, very happy that this is a happy deviation from the regular work calls that we are constantly on. But right now also, Kenaz and I are looking at, after this call, we are looking at a jam-packed schedule. Where at least we have 4 or 5 big meetings lined up by the time the day gets done. But within that, when we know that, there is a certain thing which Kenaz and I have to apply our minds and do that bit of jamming, we have literally consciously started creating those islands which are going to be a strictly personal thinking time for us. So at that time, we also mark it out to our teams that, listen, it might be that hour and a half, but we need that. And that's when we tell them to excuse us from any of this thing. We'll, of course, tend to their problems after that or before that. And Kenaz and I, through this lockdown, also have been creating those moments, those islands of our brainstorming time where we can function and we can do our kind of work. So at times it could be an hour in the evening or an hour and a half in the evening. At times it could be in the morning. But with consensus, we decide upon that and we make that happen for ourselves.
And we block it off as a meeting time. So for example, if we decide that we're going to brainstorm, for example, from 5 to 7, then we block it off in our calendars as a meeting so that we don't skip it. Because actually working in lockdown requires an entirely different kind of discipline than what you are used to at work. Because there is, first of all, we are used to being in office for 10, 12, 14 hours a day. We are not used to being home at that time. So there is several distractions. There is no house help. So all of that has to be juggled and managed. And there are like a series of calls that happen. Our day typically starts at 9:30. It doesn't end before 9:30, 10 in the night. And at that I'm talking about a good day. We are working more than we ever did. But there is also the understanding that this time requires it. This is the time when we absolutely need to be by our clients' side and partner them. Because while we are investing time, in their cases, some of their businesses are genuinely in trouble. So we need to support them. But at the same time, we can't lose the essence of what we do. So we block it off as a meeting time and we get on our calls with our respective coffee and cookies. And just like he said, in cafes, there are long periods of silences. Even on the phone, there are long periods of silences. So there could be a 10-minute silence, which on the phone is a really, really long time to be silent. And then one of us will say, what if we did something like this? And that's where we would start off from. But we have been comfortable doing the brainstorm. It's not the same as being face-to-face. Even if it's face-to-face on Zoom, it's really not same as being in the same physical space. But this is the way it's going to be for some time, and we can't let work suffer.
So we have seen some extraordinarily brilliant work from the two of you, like including the Savlon Healthy Hands campaign that won a creative effectiveness Grand Prix, and nonetheless at the Cannes Lion. So, but if you were to pick the best work that you guys did, what would be your choice?
It's going to be very difficult to single out.
Yeah, it's very difficult to single out, but I think that Chalk would definitely figure in the top 4 or 5 pieces of work, but
Yeah,
I think that shower is very close to our hearts.
Right.
Hindustan Unilever shower last year, or I would say, see, there are situations. I mean, one is of course the sheer quality of that work and what it means to the outer world, and one is also while it doesn't matter to anybody outside, and that is the way it should be. But for Kenaz and me, there would also have been, that one odd project which came with a very challenging deadline, and yet we managed to make it into something beautiful, which otherwise some other team would have needed, half a month or a month to do it. Or so there are various factors, but me personally, I wouldn't single out one piece. Both these pieces that Kenaz mentioned are very, very dear, but so are at least half a dozen more pieces, which I think have at various, like, as has been a 10-year journey at Ogilvy, at various points, that work has been the most important at that time, which, gave us the confidence that we can surmount a certain peak at that time, that gave us the energy, and it got the adulation of the world, which propelled us to do that next landmark. So I think all of them, which we mark as landmarks in our own journey, and now it's an old piece of work, but Kenaz and I derived such joy out of that piece we did for Dainik Bhaskar a few years ago. It is about 4.5 years old now, where this little girl is being taken away by her father out of school. At that point in time, that was the work which it moved us the most from whatever we had. Last year it was the shower. Before that it was the chalk. Before that it was working with a team on Reshma and acid sale. Yeah. So I mean, these landmarks keep changing, and for once we understand why certain people, I know it's a very polite and nice thing to say, but a lot of people, when you ask them, and especially, I'm not saying we sit in the same rank castles, we are pretty grounded about what we do, but a lot of people who have a volume of work will often tell you that the best is yet to come. And that is somewhere we get the feeling or the sentiment behind why they are saying it. We have done some work which we are thoroughly and tremendously happy about, and we are glad that it has also gotten counted by our peers and award shows and everybody in the best that the world has to offer. But I think Kenaz and I are strictly adhered to that factor that, hey, there's a lot more wonderful stuff that is yet to come, and we'll have to, work towards that.
For sure. So,
but I think if I were to say just a couple of more things to add as I was thinking about it, I think in our journey, there have been a lot of landmark work, like you're right, Shah is a landmark piece of work, and Savlon Chalks, Reshma, all of this. But I think we had a lot of joy building Red Label and ITC Savlon for no other reason except that we got them as babies and we built them from scratch. So I think that those two will also figure in, very high in this list, and not just one piece of work, but a lot of pieces of work that we do on this. Because when Savlon came to us, ITC had just acquired Savlon, so it was like raising a baby entirely. And Red Label, when we came on to Red Label just a year down the line, the strategy changed. The person at the who was heading Red Label changed. So again, Red Label was going to go through a complete shift in its personality. And both these things, Harshad and I worked very closely and personally from the beginning. And it has given us great joy, because building brands is completely, I think that is the ultimate, thrill for a creative person, when you see that you have built this brand and it's doing well, and the client is happy. And I'll just say one other thing, that we've been very a lot of our work, and we have received a lot of compliments yesterday on completing 10 years, but we've been very lucky to have some absolutely passionate and stellar clients. And there are a lot of jokes about clients on Twitter and meetings and all of that, but we have had the complete opposite experience. We have walked into meetings and, one shot approvals on scripts, one shot approvals on activations, people supporting us in every way. Like if you Red Label the first film, which is The Muslim Woman, one shot approval, one script, one shot approval. Savlon Healthy Hands Chalk Sticks, we presented a 2-minute thing to our client, and he said, let's do it. So we have had some. I don't think that this entire story would have been possible if we didn't have clients who believed in us so hard.
Because so just adding a small little bit to, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Please add.
No, I was just adding one thing which came to mind. about what has changed probably in the later years for Kenaz and me. Like Kenaz rightly said, of course, we have some phenomenally wonderful clients and those clients are, I mean, literally, I'm not kidding, nor exaggerating. These are clients who themselves are so passionate about work that when they get a brainwave which they can't contain, we have well-meaning, completely passionate clients call us at even 1:30 in the night saying, this just happened in the world. Do you think our brand can put out a relevant message tomorrow? And Kenaz and I have literally woken up from our beds at our respective homes, gotten in touch with video call with 3 other colleagues. Some 6 of us from our respective homes have put together campaigns overnight because the client believed we need to give it a shot. And that is the kind of client who evokes that kind of, love amongst his agency. So we really are blessed with some really wonderful bunch of clients. Jo ek haath se to tali bajti nahi. We always need a client to show belief and faith in us. Luckily, we have managed to garner that with many of our best clients. And the second bit I also wanted to touch upon was, besides the brands that we have built, I think what Kenaz and I have been lucky with and probably will, pat each other's back is, at some point, I think what is very crucial with a role like ours is, over the past half a decade, I think we have been able to build some very good people, junior teams. So be it on brands like Savlon, which we won right from pitch and built at Ogilvy, or be it the earlier team which worked on Reshma, or many of our teams which work with us on Red Label, on Bonvita, on so many different clients. I think what we have, what we consider ourselves lucky, and also take a certain amount of pride in, and this is something Piyush has taught us without, making a big lesson out of it, is Piyush has built some of the best people at Ogilvy. Sure. And I think if we can live and take out this legacy, because while on a brand like Savlon also, I mean, 2 teams have changed in the tenure of 5 years, but I think we have managed to keep those teams enthused enough, managed to, show them the way, help them to discover the wonders and joys of what that brand can bring to their table. And in turn, if these people grow on to become team leaders like what we were, say, until about 8-9 years ago, I think that's a different kind of satisfaction of having built the Ogilvy kind of people. So that is something which comes with this job. And so far, Kenaz and I are very happy with what we've been able to do on the people building front too.
Yeah, I think we have had some wonderful, really good-hearted, talented bunch of girls.
And they have given it their 200% from whatever we have asked of them. And they have brought an enormous amount of talent and their vision to our campaigns.
So very quickly, we seem to be running out of time. I would love to keep on hearing stories. What next, and what do you both look forward to?
The next innings at Ogilvy. I mean, to me, it's a very, very, I know this lockdown and the coronavirus has come as a big dampener, but so much so that right from, I think, February beginning is when Piyush announced our new roles. Unfortunately, because of the work pressures that we were already under and the scheduled trips that we were planning with our other offices, the lockdown ensured that we couldn't physically be there and, meet the wider family that Ogilvy is. Zoom has been providing a means to bridge that, but like we know, especially at least like we have people who have otherwise, even with you, we have met you earlier in life and now we are continuing it on Zoom. But for so many of our extended family in Ogilvy who work in other offices, who work in Bangalore, Delhi, and these are people we have met only on Zoom calls, I think that personal touch is what I look forward to. And that is what will mark our next innings in terms of, we have done what we could do with our individual teams and with Bombay. When it came to a Bombay role, of course, Sukesh is an integral partner in what we are calling ourselves as the trio. And now henceforth also, for all of us, the next innings is going to be marked by what we can do with Ogilvy India.
Kenaz?
Yeah, so I was thinking about it, and there's just one philosophy that I live by, and I spent like 10 years of my life working with Aggie, so he has a huge imprint on the way I think, the way I work, the way I write, all of it. And he would always tell me one thing, and I've lived by it. It's a golden rule. Everyone should live by it. He used to say, control what you can control and everything else will fall into place. So what he meant was that whatever is in front of you, give it your best, be absolutely committed to your job without worrying about anything else, and everything else will fall into place. And coincidentally, that is the same advice in very different words that Krishna gave to Arjun in Mahabharata, which is karm kar, phal ki chinta mat kar. So
Absolutely.
I think I've always lived by, what Aggie told me.
Aggie has been quite the influence and the oracle, so to say, the wise one. And he has seen us since we were kids, right up to our CD days. So what Kenneth says is absolutely relevant here.
So thank you so very much. It was really great talking to you, and may this partnership flourish, create more awesome work, and may we soon be able to meet and have a cup of coffee. Thank you
Thanks,
very
Ravana,
much.
so much for taking the time.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.